Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/iknowtheowner. In today's episode. So you think you can park here because you know the owner? Think again. Trickster got tricked. She must have thought it was a good idea at the time. Wow, I know him too. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. So you think you can park here because you know the owner? Think again. Disclaimer: I'm not a native speaker of English, so please excuse any errors. I currently work at a school as a trainee teacher. Our school has 2 yards, one in the middle of the buildings and one in front. The one in front has some grass and benches, and the oldest classes can use it as their schoolyard during breaks, while the younger stay on the inside yard. The outside yard is next to the driveway of the school, where firefighters or ambulances drive through to get to the entrance. One teacher is always present in each yard during breaks, in case someone gets hurt or anything. That day, this teacher present in the outside yard was me. Also, necessary side note, public school buildings and the property thereon are all owned by the country here. There is no public school on private property, and there are very few private schools here, and they have big signs telling you that they're a private school. The break had almost ended when a really fancy car pulls up and parks right in the driveway, despite 5 signs telling you that it's forbidden to park there. Think something like Porsche or Jaguar, not quite sure which exact type of car it was. I go over to inform the driver that he can't even let his car stand there while he's sitting in it, he needs to move it ASAP. The driver gets out of the car. Mid-30s probably, wearing an expensive suit, looks really annoyed. I explain everything, and he just laughs at me and says, "What do you know? You're a schoolgirl." "I know the owner of the property, he said I could park here." Now I am quite young, but still about 10 years older than the pupils I am supervising there, so that was weird. But here's the convo. Me: "I'm sorry, sir, but I am not a schoolgirl, I'm a teacher here. And I can't imagine to have allowed you to park here, it's against the law." Driver: "Are you stupid? I meant the headmaster." He didn't know that the headmaster's office is on the ground floor facing the yard, and he likes to work with his windows open. Me yelling, "Mister Headmaster," looking out the window, "Yes?" Me: "Did you allow this guy to park here?" The bell rings and the pupils reluctantly go back to their classes. I don't have a class after break, so I am relaxed. The headmaster, he's a pretty cool guy, just jumps out his window, about 1 m above the ground, and comes over. Me: "He says he knows you, and you allowed him to park here." What? That's insane. It's strictly forbidden to park here. Also, I've never seen him before. Driver: "Okay, that's it, you're not the headmaster here. I'll phone the real headmaster, he'll tell you." While he does that and we stand by, looking amused, we hear sirens in the background, coming closer and closer. At that point we didn't know obviously, but I'll tell you now, so that you understand everything. Upon entering the chemistry classroom, a pupil ran into his teacher carrying some acids. The acids fell to the floor and soaked both the pupils and the teacher's shoes. So they called an ambulance for chemical burns. This kind of emergency enables the ambulance drivers to just mow through anything in their way to get to the patients, no concerns for the damage. So the ambulance arrives, the driver sticks his head out of the window and screams, "Remove that car." Driver doesn't move. So his car gets run over by the ambulance. My headmaster calmly calls the police and explains what happened. Right as they arrive, the ambulance comes back, runs over the car yet again and leaves. Driver was speechless the entire time. Driver needed to pay for the damages on the ambulance. No reimbursement for his car. The pupil and the teacher are okay. We teach everyone how to react to this kind of situation, so the other pupils did the right thing, got some gloves on, cut the shoes off the feet and held them under running water. They both have some scars on their feet, but they very well could have lost their feet if the ambulance had argued with the driver. Trickster got tricked. There's a small family restaurant near our college that my friends and I used to go to after class. The last time we went there was in 2014 or 2015, can't remember, we graduated years before it. The owner, a 60-year-old man, died not long after our last visit and left the restaurant to his wife and son. Yesterday, my friend came and we went there for lunch. The son, 20-ish, was a kid back then, but he grew up handsome and matured for his age. We sit at a table and the mom still remember us when she take our order. While we were eating, a group of middle-aged men came and sit beside our table. The son taking order, and I could hear them talk. I couldn't remember some of it, but the exchange was like this. "Cust, what do you mean you don't have the oxtail soup? Oxtail soup here is the best." "Son, it was, but we didn't make oxtail soup since COVID." "Cust, but why?" "Son, supply and demand. Would you like other soup?" "Cust, you lied, didn't you? I ate them last year, and it was still in COVID." "Son, when did you eat them?" "Cust, in December, a few days before Christmas." "Son, are you sure you have them here? We were closed last year since COVID, and this is the first time we are open to dine in." "Cust, are you saying I'm lying?" "Son, no, just want to make sure you didn't mistook other shop with ours." "Cust, are you saying I'm stupid? How dare you? Where's the owner? Let me talk to the owner." This take us by surprise. We were only listening, but we look at them at this point. The son looked calm, but I'm sure he was at his limit. "Son, and why would you want to meet the owner?" "Cust, so I can prove it to you that I'm not lying. I ate the oxtail soup here last year." "Son, no, you're not." "Cust, yes, I was. I came with my family and the owner said it will be on the house the next time I come here when he knows I really enjoy them." "Son, the owner said that?" "Cust, yes. The old man with white beard and he wears a sun hat sometimes." "Son, yes, that's the owner. But are you sure you see him? He talked to you?" "Cust, you are rude. Where is he, by the way? Usually he would be the one taking order. If he knows I'm here, he will tell you off and treat us to oxtail soup." "Son, sir, my dad was dead years ago. I wonder who you really met." Gasp, could it be my dad's ghost? Could you be tricked to a closed shop that you thought was open? Are you okay? Was it really oxtail soup you ate and not? I can't remember what the son said because the customers stand up and run out of the restaurant. His friends follow after him. My friend said the customer's face was pale when the son mentioned the ghost owner. The mom then told us there are some customers like that since the owner passed. Strangely, this never happened when he was still alive, and she never see those I know the owner faces before. She wonder if they pull this trick to have some free meal, or the ghost of her late husband really come to meet the customers. She must have thought it was a good idea at the time. Delivered home heating oil for my dad for many years. We did not do furnace or boiler work. We were not licensed to do furnace or boiler work. If you ran so low on fuel your pilot went out, that was on you to get it relit. Our policy was if you didn't have an account set up you paid in cash upon delivery. If you had a fuel voucher you needed to tell us before delivery, because we had to verify the voucher with the issuing agency, and this was clearly stated on the voucher itself and clearly stated when the order was placed. I do a delivery to a first-timer and go in to get payment expecting cash or a check. Get hit with "you aren't going to relight my furnace?" After a long explanation on my part and much haranguing on their part, that try to play that I know the owner card and tell me they are going to have me fired. Then I shifted back to payment and they handed me the voucher. I told them I can't take the voucher because it has not been verified and I needed cash or a check. This started that I know the owner again, and that they were going to have me fired before I got back to the shop. Yeah, I really think that will happen, lady. Now my father went by his middle name professionally, but anyone who knew him knew his actual first name, so I asked what is the owner's name. They responded with his middle name. I asked, "Are you sure?" and they doubled down on how they knew him for years and knew his family. I then asked, "What are his kids' names?" That stopped them in their tracks. I showed her my dad's name on the bill and pointed out the last name. I then showed her my ID and said, "See, the last names match. I need cash or a check." They tell me they only have the voucher. I tell them I have to follow the agency's protocol for vouchers, and it needs to be approved before delivery, or they won't pay the voucher, and we are not giving them the fuel oil. We now have two options. They pay me in cash or a check. I call the police for theft of service. Your choice. They came up with cash. I got the "you are a horrible company" in person spiel as I was leaving, and the "I am never going to use you again" spiel too. Now there are only 3 companies that do home fuel in that community. I red flagged the name and address in our book and called the other 2 companies to find out they have already been flagged as no deliver in their books for the same reason. A voucher doesn't have much value if your asshat behavior has resulted in no one delivering you fuel. Wow, I know him too. I work at an arcade. About 2/3 of our games give tickets which you can exchange for prizes. On a busy weekend I was working the register, selling game tokens and ride tickets. On the other side of my station is the redemption area, and one of my coworkers, Skylar, was working down there getting people their prizes. The customer Skylar was helping wanted a prize worth 4,000 tickets. We have a pretty fair rounding policy regarding tickets and prizes. If you're going for a prize that size, we'll usually spot you the extra tickets. If you're within 50 to 100 of the prize, a lot of it depends on how courteous the customer is. Well, this guy had a major attitude, for start. Definitely not the kind you'd want to be generous to. And he only had 1,200 tickets. For a 4,000 ticket prize. Skylar was very calm the first dozen times he explained that the prize was out of their price range and tried to suggest other options. But as the guy continued to raise his voice and behave in a very entitled manner, he had one of our ticket-saving cards, which a lot of people think gives them special status. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Skylar began getting frustrated. Finally, after about 15 minutes of this back and forth, Skylar snapped. "Sir, I am not giving you 2,800 tickets for free." The guy went red in the face. "You had better give me that prize. We've been here for hours playing and spent $. We're VIP members and you have to round us up." "Sir," Skylar continued, still visibly irritated, "if that is the prize you want, you can save your tickets for next time and continue to work towards it. I can't give it to you when you don't have even half the tickets it costs." Sensing this interaction was not about to end with the result he wanted, the guy pulled out his trump card. "You're going to be sorry for this. I know your boss." The tension and frustration in Skylar's body language evaporated. His lips curled upward into a gleeful grin. "Oh yeah," he said in a bright tone. "I know my boss too." Skylar paused for a moment for effect, just to give the guy a moment before he let him in on the joke. "He's my uncle." The dude blanked. He paled a little and just stared at Skylar for a moment. Finally, "Your boss is your uncle?" he asked in a shaky voice. "Yes," Skylar repeated. "The owner, Greg, is my uncle." Another pause. The guy frantically recalibrated, coming up with a new story. "Well," he stammered, "my co-worker knows your uncle." "Really? Not an actual question." The BS alert is activated. "What's your co-worker's name?" Now, if you're going to make up a fake co-worker to threaten a 20-something into complying to your insane demands, please at least be creative and/or believable. Do not be like this genius, who after 10 seconds of humming and hawing gives the spectacular answer of Bob. Skylar barely suppressed a snicker. "Well, I don't know a Bob, and I'm positive Greg doesn't know Bob either." I hope the 4,000 ticket prize the dude could have easily bought online that he didn't get in the end was worth becoming a legendary laughingstock in our store.